Picture a world of cobblestones and silence. A world where the fastest thing on the road had a heartbeat and a taste for hay. Now, imagine a man standing in the mud of a small German town, staring at a three-wheeled contraption that looked more like a skeletal bicycle than a revolution. Neighbors are peeking through their curtains, whispering. They don't see progress. They see a madman. They see a devil's carriage, loud, smelly, and prone to exploding. This is 1886. Karl Benz is flat broke. His reputation is in the gutter, and his business partner has already bailed. Most people would have quit. Most people would have taken the hint and gone back to a steady paycheck. But Karl wasn't most people. He was a man obsessed with a ghost, the ghost of a father he barely knew, and a dream that everyone told him was a nightmare. This is the story of how a kid who went to bed with an empty stomach built an $80 billion empire that defined luxury for the entire planet. But before the leather seats and the silver star, there was a midnight heist, a struggle for survival, and a dark chapter that history books try to bury for decades. Karl's story doesn't start in a boardroom. It starts in the dirt. Born in 1844, he was the son of a locomotive driver. His dad spent his life at the controls of a massive steam engine, but he died when Karl was just 2 years old, leaving his mother to scrub floors and scrape by just to keep the lights on. Karl grew up watching his mom sacrifice everything so he could get an education. He wasn't just a good student, he was a phenom. By 15, he was already passing mechanical engineering exams that would make grown men sweat. He was a bicycle rider, a tinkerer, a man who looked at a steam engine and thought, "This is ancient history." He wanted something smaller, something faster, something that didn't need a rail line to go from point A to point B. He spent 7 years jumping from job to job, never quite fitting in, because he was too busy dreaming of a horseless carriage, the ultimate outsider, the guy in the back of the shop everyone thought was wasting his time. In 1871, he finally decided to bet on himself. He partnered with a guy named August Ritter to open a workshop. It was a total disaster. Ritter was unreliable, the business was bleeding cash, and the local authorities were literally impounding their tools. Karl was staring down the barrel of total failure. But then he met Bertha Ringer. Bertha wasn't just a supportive wife, she was the real deal. A woman with a backbone of steel and a vision that matched Karl's. When the workshop was about to go under, she didn't just offer thoughts and prayers. She used her entire dowry to buy out the unreliable partner, giving Karl 100% control and a second chance at his dream. Without Bertha, there is no Mercedes-Benz, period. She was the one who kept the lights on for 10 long years, while Karl obsessed over a 2-stroke gasoline engine in the back of the shop. By 1885, he had it. The patent Motorwagen. A 3-wheeled tricycle with a 1-cylinder engine, producing a whopping 2/3 of a horsepower. It went 7 miles per hour, on a good day. When he finally drove it out into the public in 1886, the reaction wasn't a standing ovation, it was a collective eye roll. Critics said it was slower than a horse, too loud, and useless. Because you couldn't even find fuel, except in a pharmacy. People were genuinely terrified of it. There were rumors that Karl was the devil, driving an infernal carriage through the streets of Mannheim. His investors? They were losing their minds. They wanted him to stop playing with his toy and built something that actually made money. Karl was at a breaking point. He had the invention of the century but couldn't sell a single one. Then came the morning of August 5th, 1888. While Karl was still asleep, Bertha did something unbelievable. She grabbed her two sons, pushed the Motorwagen out silently, and set off on a 66-mile journey. No gas stations, no paved roads, no GPS. She was flying blind. When fuel ran out, she stopped at a pharmacy. When the fuel line clogged, she fixed it with a hairpin. When the brakes failed, she invented brake lining. By the time she arrived, 12 hours later, she had done what Karl couldn't. She proved the car worked. She wasn't just a wife. She was the world's first marketing genius. Final lines. Karl Benz didn't just build a car. He changed the way the world moves, one vibration at a time. The silver star on the hood isn't just a logo. It's a reminder that when the world calls you crazy, you might be the only one who's actually awake. Because in the end, luxury isn't leather or technology. It's will. Relentless, unyielding will to turn a devil's carriage into a legend that never dies. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the high-stakes history of a global giant. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Royal and Rare. Hit that like button and support the channel. Stay curious, stay royal, and we'll see you in the next one.